Marcin and Ichika Nito just released a new track. Perfect timing. Was this track produced by Dr. Dre? Oh wait, no, that's the fake snare that I was talking about in the last Marcin video. Let's jump into it. Hey guys, real quick, if you want lessons with me and want to learn how to play like this, learn how to unlock the fretboard of your guitar, email me below for a one-on-one private instruction from me, and if it's a good fit, I'll get back to you and we can work together. My email is in the link in the description and the pinned comment. Now back to the video. So look, at this point guys, I would like to make an apology on behalf of my entire generation, okay? I'm 26 years old, I'm right at the tail end of the millennial generation and the beginning of Gen Z. And I must say that I apologize greatly to all of you boomers, Gen Xers, hell, even the old souls like myself in the millennial and Gen Z generation for single-handedly having my entire generation ruin guitar playing for all of you. I guess this beef will just continue to go on as long as all the main characters keep dropping music together and proving further that they actually are fake, even though they constantly are trying to make videos proving that they're not fake.
They think that I am fake, that everything I play is fake. They think that I am fake, that everything I play is fake.
This new track that I just listened to about 30 minutes ago with Ichika and Marcin on it is a very ironic duo. As we've seen in the Sor Hands video, where he basically was talking about Ichika semi being fake, but not really. Well, I'm here to just tell you the dude's fake as hell. I mean, it's literally not even a question, okay? And especially on this song, I mean, I'm questioning if they literally just went and copy-pasted the MIDI Guitar Pro track and then put a plug-in on it. Let's just talk about the production on this track. It doesn't even sound real from the beginning. There's literally zero dynamic range on the entire song, and it's very concerning that these guys are actually trying to pretend as though they actually played this, and then let alone miming it over as if they were to ever play something like this in one take. I think the first giveaway here is what I mentioned in my other Marcin video, which is everything having to do with the drums, specifically his snare sound. That snare literally sounds like something out of a hip-hop track. That is not even a real sound. You cannot achieve that sound with any kind of analog, meaning real drums. It is not possible, okay? And that is why I called it out the first time, because if you ever want to prove something is fake, the first giveaway is just look at the production, okay? And then do they use it live, right? We saw this example with Falling in Reverse a few years ago, where basically they canceled a show because their laptops died or something like that. And, you know, I don't know, for some reason at the time, this didn't bother me as much as it does now. And I kind of understand why Eddie Trunk was so mad about this, you know, at the time. And of course, this only fueled, you know, Ronnie Radke's beef with everybody, you know, basically saying you're old, I'm young, kind of crap. But let's just be honest, the real argument is not a real musician versus a real musician. Look, a lot of people tried to rip me to shreds here for saying if you play to a backing track, it's not real. Well, how is that wrong though? It's literally not real, bro. Now, I'm actually going to mention that I was in a band like this at one point where we, for a while, did not have a bass player. So we actually hired a bass player to come in and play all the bass tracks. We recorded all of it, and then we put it into a click track so we could hear it in our in-ears. But the only problem with this is, for one, we were playing to a backing track, and we could never actually improvise over any of the songs because they had to be lockstep, okay? So if you're playing to a backing track live, it is fake, at least on some level. Maybe it's not as fake as Marcin and Ichika, but it is fake. Let's single out Ichika for a second, okay? I'm sure Ichika is a very nice guy. He seems to really not talk that much on the internet, so it's kind of hard, honestly, to attack him in this fashion, although I feel like he did just jump in on this beef for clicks at this point, as I'm making this video to you right now. As much as I'm sure Ichika is a very nice guy, I want to conclude that me making this video has nothing to do with his personality or him as a person or anything like that. The only reason I'm making this video is I find that his playing has helped single-handedly ruin guitar playing for the masses, you know. When, especially for the kids, you know, they get influenced by this stuff. When I get students that don't understand what production is and like what goes into doing this kind of stuff, they actually think they'll be able to play like this at some point. And here's the thing, right? You literally can't play with a tone that clean and get the notes out that clean with zero dynamic range, as we talked about in our last video. Let's just talk about this song for one. You're literally hearing compression at the max and overdubs at the max, doubles at the max to achieve that sound that you think he's getting by himself, which actually takes away the virtuosic effect of it, because if it was actually true virtuoso playing, it would have been something actually recorded in one take. And that's what people fail to understand when it comes to a player that's actually great and a player that's just faking being great. Now, someone like Marcin's obviously on the same level. And in this recording, you know, look, people are going to attack me for the recording saying, oh, it's just, well, of course it's overdubs. Well, yeah, okay. But here's the thing. They're trying to pass it off as if they're special, virtuosic musicians that can actually play this stuff live. And in my last video that I made, I literally showed you guys where Marcin definitely sounds like he's using at least some drum triggers on his acoustic guitar. It's very obvious that none of this is attainable live. Like I said, it literally sounds like a Guitar Pro MIDI track that they've put plugins on and then pretended to play. So in this case, it's really more of a question of if he's using backing tracks live to compensate for the notes that he can't actually hit. An even more in-depth look at it, I would have to believe at this point he's definitely using some triggers on his guitar and maybe even backing tracks. And a lot of you are like, well, how is that possible? Well, if you have the in-ear monitors going, I mean, you can send whatever you want to them, right? You could literally have your engineer talking to you while you're on stage and nobody else can actually hear it, right? So there's a lot of ways you can kind of dupe the audience, if you will, by using in-ears for your tracks, right? So probably my guess would be that he has the click track in one ear and then probably has the actual backing track in the other ear, and then the engineer is going and blending his real guitar with the backing track. Now, that doesn't mean that he literally didn't play any of it, but it does mean that he definitely faked a good amount of it, right? Because it probably is more than likely, because he can't physically play it all, that they're doing this kind of facade to make you believe like, oh, well, he actually is playing it live, here's the video. But it's actually not the case, right? So a lot of the time when I was on stage, I used to run the click track for my bands live. There's no problem with running a click track, but basically what I'm talking about is running the instrumental backing tracks and drum triggers live. And in this case, I just feel as though this recording is completely fraudulent, like on all levels. I mean, to the point where the drums literally sound like hip-hop Dr. Dre style drums. All the guitars sound like perfect MIDI tracks. They're all quantized to the grid. For those of you that don't know what quantizing is, That's literally where you go into Pro Tools and take everything bar by bar, and you actually hit this button that's called quantize, and it will literally slice your audio tracks down the middle and move them to the mini grid, right? So on Pro Tools, you have a grid, and then you have little mini grids inside of it that essentially are compensating for, here's the quarter notes, then the eighth notes are smaller grid lines, then the 16th notes are smaller, and it will literally automatically find where they're supposed to fit on that grid and quantize it for you, and then when you're done, you just hit another button and it'll fade it all together as if nothing ever happened. And this is a production move that many people use for drums all the time, frankly. It just takes away from the people that are trying to make real art. And especially in this circumstance, right? We've discussed how Ichika and Marcin are actually good guitar players, but for some reason, they still feel the need to take it to this nth degree of fakery, quantizing not just the drum parts, but their guitars on the grid. It's just incredibly disingenuous, okay? If you hear a perfect recording like this, guys, it is 100% fake. It is just not possible to be this robotic. Now, people think like, oh, guitar playing is just getting so crazy. People are just getting way too good. No, they're just getting way more fake is what it is, okay? And honestly, it's not really a question at this point why guitar music is dead, because people keep doing stuff like this and going further and further and further with it. It just keeps getting faker. Actually learn how to play your instrument. You're lying to your audience. You're lying to the younger generation that may want to pick this instrument up and actually carry the torch onto the future generations, and you're discouraging people by thinking that you're actually playing stuff that's that crazy when you're not. And also, it's just unnatural for humans to listen to quantized music like this all the time. You know, I saw a Rick Beato video yesterday, ironically, that, you know, kids aren't playing guitar as much and all this stuff, right? And basically, this guy was saying that, you know, all the kids are listening to NBA Youngboy, and he's like, but it's cool, you know, that stuff's good too. Is it though?
So what kind of music are they listening to, Mike?
I would say Youngboy is up there, NBA Youngboy, and then, you know, Lil Boozy just dropped a couple tracks, I mean, which are good. I mean, I'm not against it.
Is it though? Is it though? I think I rest my case here with today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are Ichika and Marcin totally fake? Hit me in those comments. And if you want lessons from me, make sure to email me in the link in the description below. State your case, and I'd love to work with you if it's a good fit. I'll see you all on the next one.